Hello people of the web and YouTube, it's Gare, and today I'm going to be talking about Pi. Now with that said, this isn't the pie that you eat, nor is it the numerical expression 3.14. In fact, this is a single board computer, and it's something I've been wanting to mess with for the last few years now, and just recently, I got it for my birthday, so I figured I would review this device and give you guys my thoughts and opinions on it, as well as how it holds up now in 2019. So the Raspberry Pi, it isn't for everyone, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing either. To help simplify my review and experience on the Pi 3B, I'm gonna break this video up into, well, two parts. The first part is gonna be about the cons. Trust me here, there isn't many, but some of the cons need to be mentioned here in this video. Secondly, I'll be talking about the pros of the Pi 3B and what all it can run, as well as my general overall experience. First of all, some of the cons to the Pi can be a real deal breaker, but most of them can be solved easily. The first con is with the power supply. If you don't use a proper power supply, running a 2.5-inch USB hard drive, for example, for a NAS storage system, can be a bit of trouble. Trust me here, you will either have the drive turn on half the time or it won't work at all, so a proper power supply is a must. The second con of the Pi is, well, heat. Overall, if you plan to have the Raspberry Pi hidden and tucked away behind your TV or in a small case, I really recommend getting a heatsink. But overall, you really don't need a heatsink, and for most things, you should be able to get away with it. But if you plan to, well, tuck the Pi somewhere behind a TV, for instance, where it gets really warm, or you plan to put it in a super thin enclosure, I really recommend getting a heatsink because this thing can get a little bit warm over time. Also, some of you might not like the micro USB port, but I thought I'd still mention this in the video. This Raspberry Pi does have a micro USB port, so if you want a USB-C port, for instance, you're gonna have to upgrade to the Pi 4B or 4, whichever one the newest one is right now, because the Pi 3B and the 3B Plus don't use micro USB-C, so that can be a deal breaker for some of you guys out there, I am sure. But in my case, the micro USB port is just fine, and I haven't had any issues with it so far. But yeah, this pretty much concludes the cons portion of this video. Now let's get on to, well, talking about the positives of the Raspberry Pi 3B. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit biased here since this is, well, my first credit card sized micro computer, so I got nothing to really compare this thing to or, well, against. So I'm just gonna pit it against the micro ATX computer that I put in the giant Game Boy project. They will make excellent comparisons, and it will show you just how powerful this little computer is in comparison to, well, a really old micro ATX computer. Now this Raspberry Pi, it blows that small computer that I put in the giant Game Boy out of the water. It runs pretty much all the emulators you would want, and it actually runs them a lot better than, well, RetroArch can, which is really, well, surprising. I think this comes down to just how overall optimized the software is on the Raspberry Pi compared to that of, well, the software in RetroArch on the computer side of things. So yeah, if you plan to use this for, well, emulating PS1 games, it will actually work great. Sometimes you might actually get better performance out of this than an actual computer with the same emulator on it, as well as the same specs in terms of hardware. And speaking of computers, the Pi only requires a decent 5-volt source of power, so this means this device is far more power efficient than, let's say, using an old computer for your, well, emulation needs. Now another pro to this Pi 3B is, well, the software. There's countless operating systems that can run on the Pi, and as you guys could probably see in the video, I tend to use Laka the most for, well, all my retro gaming needs. However, there is software for video playback, and it runs great. I really recommend using dedicated software for whatever it is you plan to, well, run, because if you plan to run video in Laka, it's not going to go by smoothly. However, if you use a software that's actually meant for playing video, you will get much better temps out of the device, and the video will, well, be a lot smoother if you play the video in an app that's, well, meant to play video. And speaking of video, the Raspberry Pi 3B makes a great smart TV alternative. If you got an old CRT or a TV that just isn't a smart TV, you can plug this thing pretty much into it and make it a smart TV in 2019. It's actually kind of entertaining to watch, well, Libalek open up on a CRT and being able to watch YouTube on an old tube TV. It's actually kind of cool. Now guys, if you haven't considered picking up a Pi, I really hope this video inspires you to at least try it out. The Pi 3B is only getting cheaper as time goes on and as newer Pis come out. So in my opinion, it's really worth it even if you just plan to get it as a gift for someone else. I really hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and if you want more videos or guides on the Pi, let me know and I will gladly make another video on this in the future. However, for now, I got a video planned on the 3.5-inch touchscreen you can get for this, as well as how I fixed Laka. If there's anything else you guys want to see or you want me to see, let me know and I may make a video on it. But for now, I'm gonna leave this video off here. DTPK signing off. Peace. Now we're essentially done. We got 2 partitions, however, you don't want to load your software up, as well as the loader itself. The loader itself works almost immediately every time I plug it in.